What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Heat Chip Podcast. As always, joined here by my co-host, Joey. Before we get into everything, as always, if you like the videos and you aren't subscribed yet, hit that red button, hit the bell so you know exactly when we upload. We appreciate the support, but the best way to support us, if you haven't already, is to hit that subscribe button. Without further ado, let's jump into the big action-packed week that we just had. A lot of great games. Don't even get me started on Sunday Night Football, but let's start off with Thursday night. Giants, Eagles. Wentz looks a lot better. I'll give them that. Wentz looks a lot better. They took a couple of more injuries. Lane Johnson is pretty much on and off for them. I don't even know if he's going to be able to play next week. This Giants defense, though, they look a lot better. Daniel Jones, he got tackled by the ghost of Aaron Hernandez. And then Evan Ingram had that big missed catch. What really would have gotten them into great field position, but Evan Ingram just kind of fumbled the bag there. But Eagles come out with the 1-point win. How do you think Wentz is going to get back into this groove, especially because he still is throwing too many interceptions? Do you think he'll get back to carrying this team, especially without guys like Ertz and Sanders in the lineup?
Yeah, he's been doing really good with little talent at receiver. I think he's going to keep it up, and I think the Eagles are going to take this division. They look pretty good lately, uh, even without Miles Sanders.
No doubt. And then Browns, Bengals. This was a great game. This was a phenomenal game from Baker Mayfield. Give it to him. He had a standout performance. Rookie Baker type of performance, I would even say. This Browns offense was firing. I believe Baker had 5 touchdowns. Bengals, also great game from them. Joe Burrow had a phenomenal performance. I believe both of these guys put up like 30-plus fantasy points. Could be wrong on Baker, but I know Burrow put up like 33. But sadly, with wins, you take big L's, and a huge L for the Browns. OBJ tore his ACL. Sadly, on an interception trying to tackle on the first play for the Browns offense, I believe. It really did suck. You hate to see it from OBJ. Especially one of the top talents. He looked like he was starting to fire off, starting to get back. What do you see this? I don't really want to say how it affects his team without OBJ, but what do you see? Who ends up taking his place in probably the biggest loss this team could take on offense, besides from Kareem Hunt?
It looked like that guy, Rashard Higgins, I believe his name. He started to step up as the wide receiver 1/2. I mean, I think Landry's gonna step up into that role. And Baker looked really good in that game. Started to fire up later in that game, even though he started off a little bit slow. He's using all of his weapons. If they get Chubb back sooner or later, this offense is going to start rolling.
No doubt. And then Lions, Atlanta, another great game. I'll honestly say it. Another great game involving Atlanta. I don't know how Atlanta managed to lose by scoring a touchdown on what would have been a game-winning drive. I don't know how they managed to do it, but they did it. Lions, ever since Galladay has came back into the lineup, their offense has looked a lot better. Their passing game has looked phenomenal. He's either getting into the end zone, or if he's not in the end zone, he's getting 100 yards. Lions look a lot better. DeAndre Swift is really starting to get incorporated into this offense, and I love seeing that because not only from a Georgia fan, but just the fact that ever since he started playing good and started to get involved more, Detroit has just been playing better. And that defense, I still think the defense needs some work, but they have been playing a lot better. I mean, Atlanta. I mean, what can you do at that point? I mean, what do you think Atlanta can do at this point?
Uh, there's just no chance for them anymore. They're at they're way behind their whole division. They continue to choke games, bad coaching, players making bad decisions. Gurley, I guess, just got in his own head and just decided to take the touchdown for some reason. I mean, he tried to pull the ball out, but he couldn't. It's just bad time management, bad situational football every
Yeah,
game from the Falcons.
it really sucks. And Titans almost pulled off the comeback against Pittsburgh, but man, Gostkowski, you blew it. You blew it, man. He
Yeah.
shanked the kick at the very end. Steelers come out with the 3-point win. Juju had a bigger game than usual. He got a lot of targets. Deontay Johnson back in the lineup. Claypool had a horrible week. If you started Claypool thinking that he was going to get some of those targets with Deontay being back, I'm sorry. That is a bozo move on your point because Claypool had like point 0.8. I mean, like, yeah, that's just very unfortunate. But yeah, great game from the Steelers. Steelers, only undefeated team in the league. How long do you see this lasting, especially with their upcoming Baltimore matchup?
I'm hoping that they keep it going against Baltimore, but it's gonna be a really good game this week. I think Steelers could end up beating them, but it's gonna be probably one of the best games of the week.
Probably. I, I'll get to my predictions later, but I don't know how long they can keep this up. But if anyone doubted the Steelers, I mean, don't doubt them anymore, because they have been playing great. Jags, Chargers. Holy shit! Justin Herbert is a god. He played insane. He had a great rushing game, an insane passing night. What was it? 38 fantasy points. I mean, I don't want to toot my own horn here, but the fact that I was able to have Justin Herbert this week was just like incredible. Like seeing him do what he did, it is he. I mean, you can't help but say he is the offensive rookie of the year. I don't even want to say it's a competition. I mean, do I think Burrow will still be up there? Yes. But with the weapons that Herbert has and the fact that he's put up like 250 passing yards in his I think it was like first 5 or first 6 starts, the only player to do that was Mahomes. Herbert is the rookie of the year. No doubt in my mind, Herbert will take this award. What about you?
Yeah, God forbidding any injuries. If he keeps this up, he's gonna be the rookie of the year. He's way ahead of everyone. We thought it was gonna be Hilaire, but Herbert is just skyrocketing. He's winning games too. I mean, you could say Burrow is up there, but Burrow's just not winning the games like Herbert is.
Yeah, no doubt. And then Seahawks, Cardinals, game of the year. Game of the year. Absolute game of the year. I thought Dallas, Atlanta was going to be game of the year. Nope. Titans, Houston, game of the year. Nope. Seahawks, Cardinals, game of the year. An upset too. I didn't think Cardinals were going to pull away with this one. A little voice inside of me said, "Hey, maybe they could," but I didn't think they would do it in the fashion that they did. Zane Gonzalez almost choked it away for them. And then the rookie, Isaiah Simmons, I believe that's his name, right?
Yeah, he got the pick at the
He
end.
he got the pick at the end, set them up. Zane Gonzalez game-winning field goal. A massive game from Tyler Lockett. Historic game from Tyler Lockett. I mean, that is up there with like top 10 performances of fantasy of all time. And of course, it's obvious. 15 receptions, 200 yards, 3 touchdowns. Got to give my offensive player of the week to Tyler Lockett. He is a big boomer bust guy, but oh my God, when he booms, it is game winning, league winning type of booms. That's the type of guy Tyler Lockett is. Maybe they'll start making him a little bit more consistent of a weapon because I did have him last year and he's playing the exact same way. DK had a bad game. Lockett looks great. I mean, it's pretty much the same thing for you, right?
Yeah, offensive player of the week for me.
Yeah, but also Cardinals. And then what do you take away after they did what they did to Dallas? We didn't think we were still questioning if Dallas's offense had any spark. And after this week, they're dead. But what do you think this Cardinals defense is really all about? Because they've been the real big shine for me in these past couple of weeks.
I mean, it wasn't too big of a performance. I mean, they still gave up a lot of points. Their offense, I think, is the main part of that team. Buda Baker's making plays every game. He's getting up there. He's putting up some stats. They've got a good pass rush even without Chandler Jones. I mean, they're looking pretty good. I can't lie.
Yeah, I mean, if any defense forces Russell Wilson to throw 3 interceptions, that is unheard
Yeah.
of. Russell Wilson throws 3 interceptions throughout an entire season, usually. But yeah, great performance from their defense. Really clutched them up at the end, in my eyes. And then a game I thought Bears are gonna win this. I thought Bears could win this. They didn't. They got stomped. Nick Foles looked horrible. Bears lose 10-24. Yeah, the down spiral people thought the Bears were going to start going through a couple of weeks ago. Do you see that happening? Or I don't see it happening. I think their defense is good enough, but do you think this? How long can this defense carry this team?
Uh, the coaching, I think Matt Nagy just needs to be fired. He's been making bad decisions week after week. Their offense sucks. Foles isn't. I think they should just go ahead and roll with Trubisky. Honestly, after that game, the offense was just nothing. I mean, I'm not saying Trubisky could do any better, but it's terrible offensive performance. The defense is just always on the field. They have no choice but to carry the team.
Yeah, and my defensive player of the week, I didn't highlight in any of the games because it wasn't really all that great of a game. But Devin White had a great game. Seven, I believe, solo tackles. I could be wrong, 7 or 9, but all I know, 11 total tackles, 1 tackle for a loss, 3 sacks and a forced fumble, and then they really did shut down. I mean, they didn't really shut down the Raiders because it was about like 20 points, I believe they gave up. But still, I mean, Devin White had a great game.
My defensive player of the week is going to be TJ Watt with 4 tackles, 3 tackles for loss, and 1 sack. Great in the run game. He had some big plays late in that game to help the Steelers finish it out.
Yeah, no doubt. And then let's get into a lot of the trades, a lot of the signings before we get into next week. Dez and Yannick are headed to Baltimore. As a Dallas fan, I love the fact that Dez Bryant is back into the league. Thank you, Baltimore, for picking this man up because he deserved to be in the league. I wanted to see one last little stint from Dez. And then they got Yannick. I don't know what the hell Minnesota's doing, trading away Yannick to Baltimore out of all people. But, I mean, they got Calais. They're basically the Jags. They're basically the Jags now. That's what that defensive line is. They said, Calais, boom, come here. Can we get Yannick? Nope. All right, let's just get him from Minnesota. It's unfair. It is literally unfair that their defensive line is this good. But I'm hoping Dez, because they don't have a lot of great wide receivers over there. Marquise Brown, very hit or miss, but he really is just speed in my opinion. Dez is big. He's strong. He's really good in the red zone. I'm hoping he becomes a Mark Andrews type of target for Lamar Jackson. And if he does, make sure to keep an eye on him on the waiver wire. I'm not saying picking him up. He's not like AB, which, speaking of AB, Tampa's going to the Super Bowl because, oh my God, with how good they've been playing and now that they've got, I think when he performs, he's a top 5 wide receiver in the league. Antonio Brown, on top of that. Chris Godwin looks like he's going to be out. He could be back next week, but if he's out and AB steps into his place, guys, pick up AB. I mean, what do you think AB does for Tampa?
I think he's going to be the best receiver on the field in that offense. I've been saying it. It's AB. I said to pick him up. Last week, I believe I did. I picked him up right away as soon as I heard the news. I had a spot that I could get rid of, so I just threw him on my bench, and I'm hoping that he busts out in that offense. Brady's already had experience with him in practice and a game where he did good. He had like 17 points in that game last year that he played with Brady. So him and Brady already have a little bit of a connection, and it's AB. He has the skills, and I think he's going to be the best receiver on the team.
No doubt. A couple other things with the trade deadline in general. Cowboys, they're shopping vets. Everson Griffin, Don Terry Poe, those guys are getting out of there. I've heard some talk, whether it's fact or fiction. I've heard some talks about us shopping Jalen Smith. I don't see that happening. I think if we were to get rid of him, it'd be offseason. But Jalen Smith's contract is good, and he's still one of the better linebackers in the league, even though the effort overall on that team is bad. I don't see the root of it being getting rid of Jalen Smith. But yeah, we're shopping. Texans are also shopping the wide receivers. I've seen Cobb has been put on the market. Stills has been put on the market. Also, Vikings, and I want to hear your opinion on this. They're shopping Harrison Smith, star safety, big safety, and Kyle Rudolph. What are the Vikings doing? Are they just calling it quits and just having Dalvin Cook be their workhorse? Because they don't have anybody. I mean, just nothing's working out over there in Vikings.
I had high hopes for the Vikings this year, and it was a very bad prediction. I don't know what's happening, man. I got really no opinion. I haven't been watching too many of their games this year, so I don't have too much to say.
It's a shame, but I am going to be really curious to see who lands Harrison Smith because he is a hard hitter, and he's one of the best safeties in the league. He's a generational talent, really, and especially with the value that they got him in the draft years back. But it sucks to see the Vikings go through this, especially with the talent that they did have. And then you got to talk about the MT rumors. Michael Thomas, apparently they're shopping him. Apparently they said, oh, yeah, we're not going to trade him, and then we're thinking about trading him. Reports are coming out there haven't been really any solid offers, but he is on the – I mean, I don't see this going anywhere. Yeah, fact or fiction, pretty much.
I think I believe I saw that Sean Payton actually tweeted back of that tweet and said, "Well, these insiders aren't right" or something like that. Did you see that, or was that just me?
It was like there's one reason these insiders are on the outside for a reason,
Yeah,
something like that.
So I don't know. I don't see them trading him. He's their number
No.
one offensive piece. Him and Kamara. When he gets back, this offense is gonna be firing.
And then let's get into our hits and misses before we get into next week. My hits. I said Kamara was going to be a stud. Even though he didn't put up a huge performance, he still was a top 5 back. So I'll put him in the hit column. Stafford, 18, hit. I put David Johnson. He didn't do great, but 16, I'll take that. That is a hit for me. Bills defense. Bills almost lost that game against the Jets. They had me worried for a little bit, but I still believe they put up like 14. But Bills, Hawkinson. I said it was going to be a risk. I thought I was going to take an L here, and he got the game-winning touchdown for them. TJ Hawkinson, a great start. Tyler Boyd had a top-5 performance this week. I said he was going to have a great week. He had a phenomenal week. 101 receiving yards, 1 touchdown. That is a huge hit. And then I said Sid Freeman. He got injured. I kind of won't take it, but still, before then, he wasn't having that great of a game. And then my misses didn't have too many, but some of them were big. I said sit DJ Moore. I was taking a risk on it, and I took the L on that one. But yeah, DJ Moore had a good game. I said sit Ingram, but he had 10. He would have had a lot better if he wouldn't have missed that catch, but still 10. I'll take that from a tight end. I'll consider that an L. And then Arizona, because they had those 3 picks, they ended up with 7 at the end of that game. So yeah, only missed on 3 guys. Had a pretty good percentage this week.
I said to start Big Ben last week, and he only got 12 points, so that's definitely a miss. I hit on Gurley and DJ Moore, my running back and wide receiver, last week. And I said to start Hooper, and he actually ended up getting inactivated, so he did not play. So I missed on 2 right there on offense. And then I said to sit Derek Carr. He put up 20 points. They actually were performing pretty good in the beginning of the game. And then I said to sit Darrell Henderson, 9 points. That's a hit. I said to sit Crowder. I don't know if he was inactive or he just didn't get
He was
targeted at
inactive, I
all.
believe.
Okay, well, he got 0 points. Again, one of those inactive. And then I said to sit Johnny Smith. He put up 1 point. So I did a pretty good job this week also. And I
Yeah, I
said
don't know.
my stud was going to be Diggs, but he only put up 10, so that's a mess.
Yeah, I don't know where in the world John Smith with. That's not characteristic of him, especially with how much targets that he's even getting. But let's get into week 8. We got some great matchups. Of course, start off with our stud and a new dud. There's been so many guys doing bad, we just got to mention it. So I'm going to start off with my stud of the week. Now, I got a little bit of a hot take. Kareem Hunt, I feel like, will be the stud of the week if Miles Sanders is going to sit this week. If Miles Sanders is healthy and he's playing against Dallas, 30. 30 at least for Miles Sanders. This Dallas defense sucks. This defensive line is probably going to start taking some hits. The morale is bad because some of these guys are about to get traded away. This Dallas defense is horrible. We gave up like 18 to Antonio Gibson. Expect better. If Miles Sanders is back, he's the stud. If not, Kareem Hunt, he plays Las Vegas. Obviously, it's a great matchup. I thought Ronald Jones was going to have a great week last week, but Leonard Fournette came back and just had another one of those games. I feel like he'll probably be another one of those guys that just come back and put up 24 and then dip for 5 months, but I'll talk about that later. But yeah, that's my stud. And my dud, got to go with the Cowboy. Zeke, you suck. You are not good right now. And I can't really blame it on you. I can't blame it on you because you're leading the league out of all starting running backs with fumbles. But your O-line sucks, and you're about to go up against one of the best defensive lines in the league. He's about to have a horrible week. Consider sitting Zeke. I know it's really hard, but consider sitting Zeke. I want to hear what you got.
Okay, for my stud, I'm gonna go with kind of a risky pick, not really though. Cook is back this week. He should be back versus Green Bay. They are the worst team versus running backs. I usually like to go wide receivers with my stud. I don't really like to go running backs because wide receivers have a bit more breakout potential. But I didn't see too many wide receivers that had like crazy matchups that I think could get it done this week. So I'm gonna go with Dalvin Cook. He should be getting work in the receiving game. He should get at least a touchdown, if not 2. And then for my dud, I'm going with a hot take. Coming off of a 53-point performance, I'm going with Tyler Lockett as my dud versus San Francisco. Getting
Dang.
back to his old self, I think he'll put up one of those like 5 to 8 point games that he usually does after he puts up a big performance. I'm not saying sit him, but that's just a take. I just want to see if it pays off or not.
All right, and then let's get into our starts and sits. Start off with you? Who are your QBs to start and sit?
I like Tannehill versus Cincinnati this week after what Baker did last week. Tannehill is a lot better than Baker, so I think he's going to have at least a 20-point game. I like him this week versus Cincinnati. And my sits, I'm going with Matt Ryan versus Carolina. Me being a Matt Ryan owner, I know this. He put up 6 points versus Carolina 2 weeks ago, so I wouldn't trust him too much this week unless he's your only guy and you have to play him.
Start Carson Wentz. Start Carson Wentz. We suck. Start Carson Wentz. You ain't got to really Ain't got to dwell on it. We suck. Drew Brees plays Chicago this week. I got to sit him. I don't know if Michael Thomas is going to be back. He probably won't be back because he's battling with a hamstring injury. I don't like. I said sit Jared Goff last week, and he didn't have a horrible week, but he didn't have a great week. Like 18, I think about 18 is a hit for me. Anything lower than that's pretty much a miss. But he didn't do too bad. He had about 16. So I don't think Drew Brees is going to have a good week here. I feel like they're going to have to rely on Kamara a lot. Maybe Latavius Murray gets punched into the end zone, but I wouldn't expect a big game here out of Drew Brees. And then for running backs, I hate putting him in my starts because every time I've done it, he has disappointed me. But I swear, from everything that I've heard from Bruce Arians, the same guy who said that they weren't going to pick up AB and they just signed him, he said he's going to have a lot bigger role in this run game, and he better, because there's no other running back that I feel like has the biggest potential to break out. Leonard Fournette, please do not make me look like a fool. They play against the Giants. He has great potential. Boston Scott had a great game against them, 18, I believe, mainly just because of that last play. But still, Fournette, please, even if he's not the running back one, I still feel like he can still have a great week. And then as my sit, I'm going to go with another matchup with that whole New Orleans-Chicago. I'm going to sit Montgomery. Montgomery hasn't been getting anything going in the running game. It's just the passing game over there. And Chicago, like you said, has bad play calling. Montgomery, I don't like him this week. He's going to be sitting on my bench.
I like Ronald Jones this week. I'm going with the flip side versus the Giants. It could go with Fournette. This is going to be a run heavy game for the Buccaneers because they're going to go up early, definitely. And they're going to start pounding it and just running clock on the Giants. It should be a blowout. So I like either Ronald Jones or Fournette this week. That's a pretty good take for you too. And then I'm going with Devontae Freeman as my sit. Like I said, there's not too many running backs you can sit anymore. Like if you have one of those good running backs, good to great running backs, you have to play him. But I mean, Devontae Freeman, not too many people play him anyways, but he's playing Tampa. They shut down Jacobs last week. They shut down Aaron Jones. Great run defense.
And then wide receivers, I want to hear who you got.
I'm going with T. Higgins versus Tennessee. Joe Burrow and T. Higgins have had amazing chemistry this whole year. They're looking like they're going to be an elite duo in the future of the league. Two young guys, rookies. I really like T. Higgins. I'm considering picking him up this week off the waiver wire. If you haven't, you should in a bigger league if he's still available. Versus Tennessee, all three of those receivers on the Steelers did good. I mean, not Claypool, but Claypool was being guarded by Butler. And I think Higgins will be that kind of slot guy that gets some work. And then I'm going Claypool for my sit versus Baltimore. We saw what Claypool did versus a good defensive back, and he's going to be facing another one in Marlon Humphrey or Marcus Peters. So he's going to get shut down probably again. He showed that he's only good when Juju is getting covered. So
yeah. At my wide receiver, I got another guy from that Philadelphia team, Fulgham. We suck. Don't need to dwell on it. Darius Slayton, though. I don't like Darius Slayton anymore. Feel like his stock is going to be, if we were doing buy lows, sell highs, sell high would have been the perfect way to describe Slayton a couple of weeks back. He had some great games, but he has a bad schedule coming up, especially against a great Tampa defense. Excuse me. But Slayton hasn't really been seeing the same volume as he's been getting the first couple. I think for first 5 weeks, it was pretty much as good. Pretty much. You want him on your lineup for like those first 4 weeks, 5 weeks maybe, and then after that, kick him out the door and just sell him high while you can. That's pretty much how most of these boomer bust wide receivers are. And if you didn't get him out of there, well, he's going to be sitting on the waiver wire soon because he's going to be playing great. And especially this week against Tampa, sit Slayton. And then over at not tight end. I was about to say Tennessee for some reason. I don't know why. Jimmy Graham. I don't know where in the world he started becoming Jimmy Graham again, but he's the 4th rated tight end in fantasy right now, and he plays against New Orleans, who is the worst defense against tight ends. Graham looks great. I've been very surprised. He's been getting peppered with targets. And when I mean peppered, I mean Travis Kelce type of targets. He's been getting so many targets over these past couple of games, and that is great news for fantasy owners, especially in this matchup. Jimmy Graham is going to have a breakout game. I can't really say breakout. He's the 4th rated tight end, but he's going to have a great game. And then Hayden Hurst. Carolina is 10th versus tight ends this year. Carolina has been a very, very surprisingly, not I don't want to say surprisingly good because they suck at the run game, but when it comes to the passing game, they've been a lot better than everyone expected. And I don't believe Hayden Hurst had a great game last time around when they lost to Carolina. So I don't think Hayden Hurst is going to have a good week here for Atlanta. They have the Thursday night game this week too, so maybe we'll have a fun game to watch, but I don't see much coming out. Hayden Hurst, put him on your bench.
My tight end, I'm excited to say it. Gronkowski versus the Jets. Godwin is not playing. Gronkowski will be the second option under Mike Evans. Gronkowski, he's been amazing the past 2 weeks. He's definitely someone you should be looking to get. This is probably going to be one of his last weeks where he does good, though. Once AB gets here, Godwin gets here, I mean, there's not going to be too many targets towards Gronk. Get what you can out of him against the Giants this week, and I'd say stream him. And for my sits, I'm going with somebody that's been really disappointing lately. I'm going Higbee versus Miami. He was inactive last night. He should be able to play next week if I'm not wrong. Been terrible the past 4 weeks. I'd say sit him. Miami's the number 9 team versus tight ends.
No doubt. And then defensive special teams. I bet you I could guess your start because it's pretty dang easy. They put up 26 last week against Denver. That's unheard of. That's unheard of. That's incredible. And they play the Jets. Come on, Chiefs.
Yes.
Start him. No doubt.
Yes.
Is that who
absolutely.
you had?
Yes.
Okay. And then over at the sit column, I want to hear who you got first because I got a bit of a hot take.
Okay, I got the Steelers this week as my defensive sit.
Yeah, same here over here. I I don't think you'd be going with this though, but a lot of people they're like, oh, you always got to start the Steelers defense because they're always going to get that sack, that fumble, maybe that interception. But they got Lamar Jackson, and even though he hasn't been phenomenal this year, he's still a great quarterback. He's still been playing good. He hasn't been playing bad, no, in no means. And with how many times he gets out of the pocket and rushes, that O line is great. Ravens still have a great O line, and it really just depends on if this defense really wants to show up and just play out of their minds, because that's how they're going to have to play. And especially if Dez plays this week. If Dez is back on the field, that's going to be a lot more trouble for Steelers because, yeah, he hasn't played in a bit, but that size, that strength that he has, that does not go away, especially with all of the workout videos he's been putting out. It's a big problem for Pittsburgh. And I don't think they're going to have a great week at all. And then over at the waiver wire, who do you think people should be picking up if you need a running back?
For running back, this is an obvious choice this week. He's probably one of the last ones left on the waiver wire. Let's go Chase Edmonds with Kenyon Drake being hurt, going through an MRI. I believe it was either yesterday or today. I don't know the results yet, but Chase Edmonds probably will be the starting back next week, and he did very good last night.
No doubt. I got him there as well. 32% owned, and he doesn't really care about the matchup. With how good he's been for the Cardinals when Drake has been there, no matter what matchup, he's going to be getting a lot of snaps. It's just because Kenyon Drake is injured. So capitalize on your stock while you can because he is going to pay out, no doubt in my opinion. And then wide receiver, I got Brandon Ayuk from San Francisco. They play against Seattle this week, and he's 10.8% owned. If you need a guy that is pretty much boom or bust, a guy who could break out this week, I feel like Ayuk could have a good game. No doubt in my opinion. I feel like he could. He's used in the running game similar to what's his name again? Debo? Yeah, Debo Samuel. He's similar kind of that in the fact that he's getting used in the running game. But I like Ayuk versus Seattle. Who you got?
I've been, like I said earlier in the podcast, I like T. Higgins. He's been super consistent. I mean, at least 12, 13 points. I mean, he's been getting like 18, 20 lately. Joe Burrow seems to like him a lot. I mean, I'm not saying his matchup is too good this week, but I mean, you could get him and use him for a few weeks, honestly.
And then over at the QB stream, I got lucky. I got lucky the fact that I have Herbert. I was thinking, oh man, if Herbert doesn't perform good this week, then I'm really gonna have to just be shopping QBs every week, just shopping them in and out and in and out. But I got my franchise QB too. But a lot of people have been saying pick up Carson Wentz, but Carson Wentz was already owned in a lot of the leagues, and I said pick him up last week. So with that in mind, he's probably not available too many places. A guy who is, though, and who has been playing pretty good and has an amazing matchup this week, Derek Carr, 23% owned, and he plays Cleveland. Uh, yeah, I mean, we saw what Burrow did to them. I don't feel like their offense has the weapons that Burrow's has, so where he could do that. But I mean, at least 20 from Derek Carr, no doubt. I feel like he's a great stream this week against Cleveland.
I'm going with Brady. Pick him up now because he's owned in a lot of leagues right now. But if he's not owned, you gotta get him. This guy's schedule opens up a lot and near the playoffs, and he's been doing really, really good. Obviously, you want to get wins this week and play him if your quarterback situation's bad. But Brady, I think he's an MVP candidate right now. He's playing really well.
And the whole good thing about Brady is that you've seen, like you saw people were starting to worry on him a little bit, and they haven't really just paid attention to Tampa because Brady's just not one of those quarterbacks everyone pays attention to when it comes to big numbers and for fantasy. They usually look at the bigger guys with a little bit more rushing upside, but you got guys like Cam Newton that are starting to get dropped. He's been putting up duds. You got a bunch of guys out there who are just not great. I saw Bridgewater starting to get dropped. Cam's starting to get dropped. With all these guys that are getting dropped, Brady's probably one of those guys who was in that train a couple of weeks ago, and I do kind of agree with you on that one. I think if he is available, definitely pick him up and store him on your bench because when that playoff time comes around, I mean, I looked at that schedule. It's probably the best playoff schedule out of the entire league. I mean, not actual playoffs, but you know what I mean. If in regards to
And I
fantasy,
believe
but
he plays Atlanta in the Super Bowl. If you do get to the Super Bowl, that's gonna
yeah,
be a pretty good play.
that's a great play, a fantastic play. But let's get into the actual games for Week 8, starting off with Carolina Atlanta for Thursday night. I feel like this could be another great matchup. Atlanta looks better with their coaching, but last game they didn't actually fumble the back, but Gurley it's just unlucky. But it wasn't unlucky for me because I had Galladay and Gurley, and that was the literal best thing possible that could have happened for me. Like unless that Galladay could have gotten into the end zone. Accidental touchdown by Gurley, big play from Galladay. I love it.
Hmm.
I love it. But I got Atlanta coming out of this game. I feel like Atlanta's going to have their vengeance. I still feel like Carolina's going to play great, but Atlanta's looked a lot better. They're going to be on the hunt for a dub. Another one, they really do need it. And especially after last week, they're going to be fired up against a division rival. I think Carolina gets handed the L this week.
I'm done betting with Atlanta. I've been doing it too much. I'm done doing it for the rest of the season. I'm going Carolina.
All right. Pittsburgh, Baltimore. Game of the week, in my opinion. No doubt. Unless it's like 49ers, Seattle, which we'll get into that in the next prediction. But Pittsburgh, Baltimore is going to be a fantastic game. I feel like it's either that or it's going to be a defensive heavy game. But Yannick, possibly Dez, maybe not because they did put him on the practice squad. But Yannick is going to be making his debut for Baltimore this week. I got Baltimore. I just can't bet against them. They're coming off the bye. They've had a lot of time. Pittsburgh, they lost Devin White, and even though they managed to do what they did against, I mean, they almost blew a huge lead against Tennessee. And Tennessee is a great team, but still, Baltimore is great as well. And if you blew that to Tennessee, I mean, Baltimore, they got a kicker who doesn't miss. You can't get lucky like that again. So yeah, I got Baltimore this week.
I'm sticking with the Steelers for 2 weeks in a row.
Wow.
I think they can pull it out. I think they're going to stay undefeated.
And then 49ers, Seattle, interdivisional matchup. My heart wants to say 49ers so bad just because of how good their running game has been. And just Seattle's defense is so bad. People were saying that Seattle was the best team in the league, but Russell Wilson can only carry for so long. And, that was revealed last night. It's just, no, not last night, 2 nights ago. But I just can't trust that defense.
I'd like to touch on that a little bit. Gilmore, Patriots actually said that they are shopping Gilmore, and they will trade Gilmore. That would be a great target for Seattle. That would be a optimal target for Seattle if they would want to trade for someone like that before the deadline. Patriots did announce that they are shopping Gilmore.
Dang, that'd be a huge target for them. But yeah, I want to go 49ers so bad, but I gotta go Seattle. It's Russell Wilson. He's been playing so good. If Tyler Lockett has another great game, it's game over. But yeah, I'm kind of on the same boat with you. I don't want to say he's going to have a dud of a week. I feel like he'll probably get like 20 still because I feel like he'll still have a good week because you can't. There's no way in hell you put up 53 and then put up 5 the next week. Only Tyler Lockett, but dude, still, like I gotta go Seattle here, no doubt. Who do you got?
I'm gonna keep picking against you, Brett. No offense, but I'm going 49ers, man. Like the run game is so good. That offense, I watched the entire game against the Patriots. The offense looks so good. I mean, they're playing like they're in Madden. Like they're playing like the 49ers in Madden. Uh, Kittle showing that he's the best tight end in the league, blocking and receiving right now. I'm picking the 49ers. I'm rolling with the hot team.
I think the only thing that stopped San Francisco this week is the fact that Jeff Wilson did land on IR. He had a phenomenal week, but he has a high ankle sprain. He's going to be out 4 to 6 weeks.
I don't think it matters.
I mean,
I
I don't think it matters. But where the hell did Jerick McKinnon go? Like he had
Yeah.
zero. He had negative actually. He had negative points last week.
I think they made a decision before the game to just play him instead of McKinnon.
I don't know. I don't know if McKinnon's going to be the lead back, if they're going to give it to that JaMychal Hasty guy. But yeah, I'm just with that in mind. I gotta go Seattle. And then Sunday Night Football, the game nobody wants to watch, Dallas, Philadelphia. A little voice inside of me wanted to say that Ben DiNucci, the GOAT from James Madison University, 7th round. I mean, honestly, huge deal. Should have been picked first overall, but I've said so many good things about Philadelphia. My heart wants to say, just forget it. Pick Dallas. Finally, just like be like, you know what? Who cares? You know what? Forget it. I still feel like Philadelphia is going to have a great game. Everyone for fantasy is going to do great, but I'm going Dallas for the upset. I'm going Dallas for the upset. I can be crucified if you want me to, okay? But I'm going Dallas for the upset. I'm going Dallas for the upset.
Great. Okay, let's just move on. Philadelphia.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's just something inside of me. If my heart is as good at knowing when to stream defense as it is for predicting type of stuff, usually when I predicted Dallas to win in the past, I've been wrong. I predicted we were going to lose against a football team. Wrong. I was right on that. Predicted we were going to lose against Atlanta. I was right on that. I did say we were. No, I didn't. I don't think I predicted that Browns game. But either way, please don't prove me wrong, Dallas. Please do it. You don't understand how happy I will be to beat Wentz with a 3rd-string quarterback. I would love for that to happen. And let's wrap it off. Tampa Bay, New York. Come on. I'm not this stupid. It's Tampa. Come on. New York
Super Bowl
sucks.
champion.
New York. Yeah, New York sucks. I don't know if Tampa was going to be able to beat the Chiefs, but New York, come on, man. You were this close to beating the Eagles. I would have much rather seen New York be like, oh, yeah, we're at the top of the division. Now we got the most cancerous fans in the NFL over there. Well, Eagles fly. You got 2 wins. Calm down, okay? You tied once. That's the only reason you're on top of the league, all right? I mean, on top of the division. Shut up. But, yeah, Tampa, obvious choice here. Brown said he's going to make his return next week, not this week, right?
Yeah, they said he's going to be activated week 9.
Oh, wait, no, I think
Saints.
Actually, I think they have a bye week 9. It's week 9. Yeah, Tampa is going to be the obvious start here. But with all that said, guys, if you like this episode, hit the like button. We appreciate all the support. Once again, subscribe if you are not subscribed already. Thank you guys for tuning in. See you next week. Peace.